The NBA was founded in June 1946, with its first season played in 1946 and 47, while Masaka debuted in 1947 and 48 as the first non-white player and the first Asian American in the NBA. However, this trend of Asians in the sport did not trend upwards. Fast forward to 2021, and there are only 5 Asian players in the NBA. That is 0.1% of the entire league. Comparatively, Asians make up a large 7% of the US population. Representation in sports has many rules. It can take the form of role models. For example, Jeremy Lin was the only Asian American in the NBA for a while. He inspired Asians around the world to play. What was so special about Jeremy Lin was that his success in the league was defined by his grittiness and not his height. His message for future Asian American basketball players: man, I so wish I could have done more on the NBA court to break more barriers, especially now. But you guys got next. When you get your shot, do not hesitate. Don't worry whether anyone else thinks you belong. The world never will. If there's any chance to doubt, they will. But when you get your foot in the door, kick that door down, and then bring others up with you.
I didn't get it done, but I have no regrets. I gave my all and hold my head high.
Another role model is Shannan. She is a special assistant coach for the Dallas Mavericks. She grew up in San Francisco, and her career in the sport was limited by her height. Going into high school, she wanted to continue her passion for sports and went to St. John's for sports management. She was able to secure a position as a manager on the women's team. From there, she was able to join Coach Chris Mullin, a Warriors legend, as the men's team manager. After college, she got an internship with Stanford's legendary coach, Cara Vanderveer, to be a video creator. From there, she was hired as a video director for Cal women's team. This led to her role as head recruiter at the Nebraska men's team, a part of the Big Ten division, the first Asian American woman to ever hold a recruiting coordinator position in men's college basketball. Just 2.5 months ago, she joined the Dallas Mavericks as a special assistant to the head coach Jason Kidd. She has the role of inspiring young Asian boys and girls looking for a future in the sport, and I asked her what message she would have for young Asian Americans going into sports.
If I had to narrow it down, it's a coach early on when I was in college told me this, and I stick by it, and people will always joke around with me about it, but I stick to it. It's, pay your dues and pay it forward. And to break that down, it's paying your dues is just doing all the work, all the hard work, the backbone work, the grimy stuff. Others people refer to it as the trench work. I think that even to this day right now, I'm still in the trenches. It just depends on what you define as a trench. Like, yeah, I'm in the trenches in the NBA, whereas it's not the same as someone in the trenches in college, but we're all in the trench together at some point. I would just recommend, keep working hard, keep doing the things that no one else wants to do. I think that's what kind of separated me from a couple other individuals whenever I was at a certain level with them, is that I wasn't smarter than anyone, and I'm not more talented than anyone. I just care a lot about who I work for and what I do for them. And then I'm willing to do just, any small task, any big task, whatever it takes to help my bosses and the players that I work with succeed. I think you got to have that genuine happiness of like making other people succeed before you care about your own success. That was really long-winded, but that's the pay your due part. And then paying it forward is just as important. Moments like this with you, Christopher, people, once they get to a certain level, they might wave it off and be like, I don't want to talk to people. Not because they want, it is what it is. I'm not naturally in love with talking to other people in general. Like, I'm somewhat introverted, but I have a duty to you and the next Asian American, the next whoever, it doesn't have to be Asian American, whoever wants to get in this profession or find out if they even want to be in that profession. I have a duty to you guys to share the information that was told to me, because I'm selfish if I keep holding it in for myself and try to climb a certain ladder and not bring anyone along with me. I think that's also another part of the team before me, right? So just as much as you think I'm successful, I want you to be successful. I want my brother, whoever else, to be successful. And if I help them along the way, then that was me paying it forward. Because all the coaches that have talked to me in the past, the coaches that are talking to me now, I'm nowhere without them. Like, I wouldn't be in this position without the coaches I worked for in the past and the people I worked for and supported me. So in long win, pay your dues and pay it forward, because I think that's all you can really do in this life. There's nothing else is guaranteed.
I had the privilege to talk to Pranav Iyer, the founder of Amazing HQ, a platform that highlights Asian American stories around sports.
Like for me, it was like I said, like I talked about before, it was Varun Ram. I can tell you a little bit more about his story. It's pretty crazy. So the reason actually how I found out about him was like my cousins, like they're from Maryland. They're actually like really close family friends with Varun Ram and his family. So that's how I found out about him, because like my cousins, my aunt knew like when I was like so I found out about him when I was a freshman in high school, and they knew like, oh, I had these dreams of playing sports in college. So they were like, oh, there's this dude named Varun Ram. He's playing at University of Maryland right now. So I looked into his journey, and it's actually like quite remarkable. So he like I said, he's 5'9". He played at River Hill High School in Maryland. He was like an all district player. I think he like led them to a state championship. So you hear a lot of these things, like when you think about like Jeremy Lin, right? Jeremy Lin led them to a state championship. He was an all-state player. And he had no offers, right? So this Varun Ram guy, obviously, I think is not necessarily comparable to like that, because he wasn't at that level, and he's 5'9", so that plays an impact into it. But he like his goal was like, he literally always had to prove people wrong every step of the way, even at the high school level. And when it came to like getting offers for college, like he was able to, he got 0 offers. And he ended up having to go to a prep school, or basically he was close to getting an offer from some of the Ivy League schools. And they told him, like, maybe go to a prep school for a 5th year of high school, and then kind of like we'll give you an offer then. Just because like right now it like doesn't work with our with the team that we have, and we're having players graduate next year, so it'll work out then. So he went to a prep school, again, like same process. He got 0 offers, and then he ended up deciding to go to the Division III route. He played at a Division III school, Trinity College, for a year. And then after that, he kind of like realized, like, he's like, yeah, first of all, I can't pay for this private school tuition anymore. Second of all, it's like, I'm gonna just transfer to University of Maryland. He transferred to University of Maryland with no understanding of like, I'm gonna even have an opportunity to try out for the team. There was like no like really connections with the coaches. When he talked to the coaches, they themselves said like, yeah, I don't know if we're even hosting a tryout this year. And then eventually he like randomly got a call. Like, so he like trained the whole summer with no understanding of like what was going to happen, no understanding that he was going to get an opportunity. When he was at school, he was always at the gym. He never even told anyone. Like, no one knew that he was training to like training for a tryout opportunity. Not even his roommates knew. So he was just like always randomly in the gym, just like doing a bunch of workouts, and everyone just like giving him random looks. It's like, why is this like little Indian kid doing this? And he ended up getting a call one day by the coach telling him like, oh, can you come to practice today? And he ended up like dropping everything. He like went to it. 2 weeks later, he was offered like a walk-on spot onto the team. And then he told everybody about like the news, and everyone was like, what, this is what you've been doing? Because like when he came to Maryland, everyone told him like, yeah, like you're coming to Maryland, now you're coming to be a student. Like there's no way you're gonna play Division I basketball here. And he kind of just shut all of that out. So he ended up not only becoming a walk-on, the year later he became a scholarship player. After that, he even like started a few games. And then I think like his really biggest moment was when Maryland made it to the NCAA tournament. He had like the game-winning block in a game against Valparaiso, and that's kind of like when people started to like hear about his name. And I think like that was kind of like his like come to like everything like came to fruition in that moment. And I think what's really cool is that like he's like super humble about it. He's all about like he never did any of it for like, oh, I wanted to be like famous or whatever. He's all like because he loved this. He had a passion and he wasn't gonna do anything to like let anything get in front of it. And now he's still doing big things. Like I still like keep in touch with him. And he serves like as an inspiration for so many people. Like last March Madness, I was like, oh, this might be a good opportunity to like post something about him because a lot of people still don't know the story. So like I posted like a little TikTok series about him. And like I've realized that really no one knew about his story. So like that kind of like got a lot of traction. And it's because it's a really relatable story, right? That everyone can relate to because he's not this 7'6" behemoth that's like Yao Ming or Sim Bular that although they're Asian, it's like, right, we can't relate to them on an athletic level, on a like, oh, this is the adversities that we've overcome. He grew up in a very like stereotypical Asian American upbringing, similar to Jeremy Lin. And I think that kind of like his entire story is like something I always tell people. And it's like, I had one of the people I mentor, Anthony Yu. I don't know if you know him, but he plays at LMU. He's also from the Bay Area, played at Pali. And I told he's a walk-on at LMU. I told him to talk to Rue and hear about his story because he can learn so much from it. So he's like someone in terms of my basketball journey. I mean, in terms of my athletic journey and my football journey, he was the one who inspired me the most.